Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Trustees meeting for Delhi Township for October the 29th of 2025. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Tonight's moment of silence is dedicated to a longtime pillar of Delhi community, Mr. Phil Paleo. Most of us that grew up here remember Mitchell's Pharmacy. And Phil lived a wonderful, beautiful, long life of 98 years. He was married to his wife, Dolores, for 66 years. They had 4 children, 5 grands, and 6 great-grands. He was a longtime pillar of Our Lady of Victory Parish for 67 years. So in 1969, Mitchell's changed to Paleo's Pharmacy. So there was many times when Phil was quite the philanthropist, working on Meals on Wheels and the Lady of Victory Food Pantry, as well as he was very active with the Mount St. Joe Mother House. But I have kind of a personal story about Phil. Long before Walgreens and CVS thought about how unique it would be to make home delivery, I had a very critically ill father, and this was in the late 1970s. And I can still remember Phil coming up the driveway delivering the drugs. He was a wonderful man. We wish him to rest in peace, and God bless him. So if we could please, Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let's begin this meeting with the approval of the minutes. Mr. Luby.
Motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on October 8th, 2025, and special meeting on October 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Motion to approve overtime for pay period ending October 14th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
A motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved. Report from our fiscal officer, Mr. Luby.
Significant transactions since our last meeting. We had a payment to Huntington Bank for $249,000, which was a loan payment for a fire truck. We had a payment to Midtown Health for our September funding payment of $12,500. Payment to Office 360 for $33,000 for furniture and equipment here at DTS. We had a payment to Cincinnati Public Schools for their TIF reimbursement for $58,000. We had a payment to Great Oaks for TIF reimbursement of $82,000. And we had a payment to Oak Hill School District for $1,480,000 as reimbursement for the TIF. We had a payment to Stacy Heating and Cooling for $15,000. It was for a new HVAC system on top of Neeb Road building, the old admin building. We had a payment to PAR Public Safety for $43,000 to install some police equipment in the vehicles. And a payment to Flock Group Inc. for $40,000, and this is for our annual fee for the Flock cameras. Our payroll on 10/23 was $382,000. And as far as deposits, on 10/10, we received $955,000. This is for our second half settlement of real estate taxes. And on 10/27, we received $58,000. This is the local government distribution and our gasoline tax. And on 10/27, we also received $19,000 for the permissive motor vehicle license tax. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Luby. All right, trustees' correspondence. Trustee Davis.
Just a couple. I'm sure we'll mention them as we go, but the trunk or treat, the residents obviously very happy about that, and a good turnout for the kids. And a thank you to the township, for the police, the fire, everybody who makes the event what it is. So we probably will talk about that later. Also, as you're talking about Palello Pharmacy, and of course that's Cherie Palello's family, right?
Yes.
If I understand it correctly. But as you were saying that, I was going down memory lane in my mind, being a little kid walking home from Delhi Junior High, heading right past there. And those of you who've been out in Delhi for a long time, you can remember that whole stretch with Palello's Pharmacy, Baum's Pharmacy, the Zenith store, you know, of course, Delhi Chili. And I just saw the memories are Hank and Ev's. Do you guys remember Hank and Ev's? And yeah. What a cool memory. So, so when you have that, I'm glad we mentioned that tonight. It's a nice memorial for them and for their family, so thank you.
Trustee Sturts.
Yes, since the last meeting, we also had Harvest Hootenanny out at Story Woods on October 11th. Fun morning, fun afternoon, lots of booze, a lot of fun, face painting, great for the families. Thank you for everybody that came out. Thank you to our Parks Department and police and everybody who participated in that. It's always a fun fall event to start kicking it off for the township. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think we've covered trunk or treat and hootenanny, so let's move forward then and make sure that everyone marks their calendars for what's coming up, and you'll hear more about it as we go through the meeting. But get ready, Christmas parade time, also the tree lighting. There's a lot of things planned, so thank you everyone for having come out through the October and fall festivities. And most of all, I was so proud of everyone's behavior and the way everyone conducts their families and their kids, and it was just a delight. So thank you, everyone. All right, we do have a very special presentation this evening, and this is a very special lady to us. This is Kaylee Vickers, and Kaylee is actually our community advocate working with our police department. And you know, this is very unique, and we're very special with the fact that we have a Kaylee working in our police department. You hear so many questionable, I hate the word negative, but sometimes it's negative, about police, let's just say, care, knowledge, and working ability with mental health situations. But that's not where all their training really is. But that is where Kaylee's trained, and that's where they turn to Kaylee for her expertise. So Kaylee, come forward. We're all willing and happy to meet you, and tell us about the Community Advocate Program in Delhi Township.
Good evening. I'm Kaylee Vickers. I'm the Community Advocate. So I've been with Delhi for almost 4 years now, which I'm not really sure how it's been that long, because it really seems like it's been the blink of an eye. But I'm just going to share a little bit about the numbers from last year compared to this year, some things that we've been working on, and then I also have our intern from the University of Cincinnati here tonight to introduce himself as well. So the 2024 numbers, I had a total of just over 1,000 contacts, with about 256 cases that touched across. So you can see kind of the breakdown of that. The mental health cases were kind of the majority of what I was working on last year, and that's tracking about the same this year. You'll be able to see in the next slide. But kind of what I'm working on, mental health, substance abuse, domestic violence, sexual assault, indigent cases, and kind of anything that doesn't fall into the criminal realm. The idea is to be able to free up our officers to handle criminal cases or other areas they might be needed in the community if I can handle something. We are really blessed to have amazing officers at our police department, and I know that you mentioned mental health isn't where they're trained, but we are really, really blessed, and the majority of our officers have had the opportunity to go through the CIT training process, the Crisis Intervention Team training process. So the majority of our officers do have a little bit of training and knowledge on how to handle mental health cases and to try to help keep those individuals as safe as possible and also themselves as safe as possible. If I can have the next slide. Thank you. So year to date, I've had roughly 678 client contacts. Mental health is tracking very, very close and similar to what we have been seeing year over year. The area that we have seen a pretty large jump in is our sexual assault cases, and I think that our contacts. And I think that it's important to note that just because we have a large jump here, it doesn't mean that more sexual assaults are happening, but it does mean that more people are feeling comfortable reporting, and more people are being connected to resources and services to help them heal, from the trauma that they've been through, and also to have that support and education on the court system. So that's just a little breakdown of kind of the things that I am working on. I've also had a lot of really great opportunities to partner with, like I had mentioned, the CIT program. I'm part of their specialist team, which helps make some decisions with the county and the stuff that they're handling. I've also had the opportunity to participate in the domestic violence task force for the county, which has been instrumental in putting together some training across the county and offering different opportunities for not only officers, but advocates, nurses, things like that. So,
Kaylee, I think having you there and your expertise in dealing with sensitive matters like the sexual abuse has helped our residents who are faced with this trauma to be able to talk with you and get the help that's necessary. And that's why you're invaluable to this township.
thank you. Thank you. I want to take the opportunity for Manny Mullins to come up and introduce himself. He is our social work intern from the University of Cincinnati.
Nice.
Hello. So my name is Eduardo Mullins, but I go by Manny. I'm from Bloomville, Ohio, and I'm in my last year of my social work program at the University of Cincinnati. I just want to take the time to thank the township and the police department for the opportunity. I feel like this is something that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. It's an opportunity that I feel like is unlike anything that I could have got back where I'm from. So I'm very, very thankful.
Nice.
Thank you for being here. I know that you were an asset for Kaylee for the summer anyway, right? Yeah, great help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for letting me share a little bit. Are there any other questions?
Trustee Davis?
I don't have a question. First of all, thank you. You thanked us. Thank you. Are you kidding me? The time that you put in, both of you. I'm just amazed if what you're presenting is accurate. Year to date in 2025, 678 client contacts, and I'm assuming those are referrals out to you and to so much that's going on right here in this community. This isn't Western Hamilton County. This is Delhi Township, and we're not alone. This is, we have the ability and the resources to have someone like both of you, and we know that there's many, many others that do not have this. They are not blessed to have that, but it just shows you the need out in that community. And as by your illustration here, the majority is mental health. 268, followed 100 less, but still the sexual assault, and it goes on from there. So such a strong need. So thank you, and I know our residents, if any of these people were here, they would, I'm sure, be praising. Thank you for the services, but I'm stunned at that number, and sadly, with where we are with the government and everything that's going on, it only gets worse, I'm afraid, as we roll into 2026 and beyond. So that might be something we need to look at in the future also, because you can't be a one-man band and do everything and divide those numbers up to where we are in 10 months, 678. Wow. Thank you.
That's right. Trustee Sturts?
Yes, thank you for everything. Thank you for being here this summer. I really appreciate it. I hope it's led you to think about what you'd like to do further, and that there are other opportunities besides hanging a shingle. But I can remember when we first were presented with the community advocate option, or considering it. And we thought, oh, okay, maybe we'll share the person with another one or two communities. I can't even think, if we would still have you, if we were sharing you with 3 communities, because of what we here present to you, just in ours. And you know our people, and you understand our people. And I'm just so glad that we went to one person right here just for us. I'm being selfish, but I am so glad. So thank you.
I'm grateful as well. Thank you.
You'd be gone, I'm sure.
Kaylee, we pride ourselves on caring for our residents. We care for their safety with police and fire, but what you're doing is caring about their quality of life, and that's priceless. And we thank you so much for being here and for the excellent job you're doing. Thank you, Manny, for spending your time with us. And we wish you, going forward, all the best. We're here to support you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, following the agenda then, next we do have a public hearing this evening. Mr. Luby, you want to read the public hearing, please?
We have a motion to open the public hearing addressing a request for a map amendment to rezone property located at 415 Greenwell Avenue, parcel 540-0041-0521, and 423 Greenwell Avenue, 540-0041-0494, located in the Delhi Pike Business Corridor to F Industrial.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Yes.
Yes.
The public hearing is now open. And we will first have a motion. Well, we just did that. Okay. Staff report then. That would come from Tony, right? All right, thank you. Community Development Director Tony Roach.
Good evening, trustees. So as Mr. Luby read, this is a proposed hearing for a map amendment at the listed location from the Delhi Pike Business Corridor to F Industrial. You can see in this slide here, that's the outlined area of the two parcels on Mayhew Avenue. The applicant is proposing to rezone two parcels from, like I said, to the Delhi Pike Business Corridor to F Industrial. The property is developed an existing building and adjacent surface parking lot. The property consists of a building and a parking lot to the north. Here's a picture of the building. The purpose of the F Industrial, create industrial areas within the township that won't adversely affect the adjacent businesses or residents. Permitted uses in the F Industrial, just some of them are light activities, warehousing, construction, storage facilities, sexually oriented businesses. These are some of the uses in the F Industrial. The purpose, as you know, when the Delhi Pike Business Corridor was created, was to redevelop Delhi Pike to a vibrant mixed-use corridor. Rezoning the subject properties from Delhi Pike Business Corridor to F would directly conflict with the established vision that the township has. In the staff's opinion, that the request would consider spot zoning. Spot zoning is when a single property is singled out and is inconsistent with the surrounding community and adaptive plans. Introducing an isolated industrial zoning designation in the heart of Delhi Pike would undermine the township's redevelopment strategy. Staff recommended to the Zoning Commission a denial, and it came for the case. It came back from the recommendation from the Zoning Commission, a 4-0 denial. Staff feels that the proposed doesn't align with the township's comprehensive plan, nor serves public interest. Rather, it would reverse the years of planning that the township has put into the Delhi Pike Business Corridor to make it a thriving, attractive center of the community. So that's the staff's report that we submitted to the Zoning Commission. If your board would have any questions for me, I can answer them before the applicant comes up.
Trustee Davis?
Mr. Roach, will you go back on the slide for the industrial and what that would allow? Will you present that one more time?
No, go forward.
Let's see, Trustee Davis.
Right there.
These are just a few, Trustee Davis. In the use code in our zoning resolution, there's actually 2 pages. We just wanted to highlight some of the ones that would be very impactful for that area. Light industrial activities, warehousing, construction, large equipment sales, storage, sexually oriented businesses.
And how it's zoned now would not allow any of those that you have listed, correct?
That is correct. Now, so we did put in there, and we have had some discussions of personal and professional services, Trustee Davis, and technically we could, a landscaping outfit could go into there as long as they had administrative offices out front, and the ancillary use in the back would be storage of their trucks and everything. So some type of service like that could occupy that building, but as far as the other ones, any type of storage. Self-storage, equipment sales, things like that would not be permitted.
Okay, and that's where my question lies. What, besides what you just said there, as long as they have office in front of it, what would be something that could go in there? Name 3 or 4 things right off that could go in there as compared to something zoned industrial, obviously from what you're saying, but.
Yeah. Any type of, bar, restaurant, that type of area, that's food, oriented businesses. Right next door to Delhi Pike Business Corridor, there's an electric works. Something like that could go in there with administrative offices. A plumbing outfit, who has administrative offices where they could use their trucks and, keep their trucks inside in the rear and have all their administration staff out front.
And what has been in there in the past over the last 20 years?
Well, prior to the new owner now, it was Rocket Systems they were in there illegally that the township spent a 2-year court battle with, who's since moved on to the F Industrial District where it is permitted use. Prior to that was what we know as the consult, where it was medical billing offices.
Okay. So they were doing things that would have been zoned industrial for what they were doing, and it was a 2-year battle to get them out?
That's
And now
correct.
they're
They
somewhere
moved in
that
without
allows them
without our knowledge.
under that zoning.
That's correct.
I understand.
And then
Thank
they
you.
moved on to the F Industrial where that is permitted in the township, what they're doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Sturts, any questions?
So just so everybody who's listening, we do have F industrial zoning in the township. It's not like we've said we can't have it. It's just not up on the business district.
That's correct, Trustee Sturts.
Thank you.
Right, and this particular location was recently sold. Is this,
That's my understanding. There is a new owner, and the applicant can speak more onto that for his client, for who he's representing.
okay, all right, thank you. All right, with no further questions, then we will move on. The applicant testimony, and our applicant is, just come forward and give us your name. I think you're Andrew, right?
There's the applicant. Yeah.
Sorry. It's Andrew Matei with 3 Stereo Advisors. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. I represent he's the recent purchaser of the building.
Okay, and the applicant is Mr. Nick?
Nick Michello, yes.
Okay.
He's a resident of Deer Park. So I'm here obviously representing Mr. Michello. He's just a local business owner, so he does not have knowledge of the intricacies of zoning or anything of that nature. So I put this presentation together on his behalf, so I'm the one presenting it.
Okay, and 3CRE Advisors is a real estate?
We're a full-service commercial real estate firm that
Commercial real estate, okay. Thank you.
brokerage, consulting.
And you were
number of
the
different
agent
things.
to Nick?
I was not the agent. I was brought in as a consultant for this particular situation after he purchased it through another agent within the firm.
Andrew, did he understand the zoning on this building at the time of purchase? I mean,
Yes,
he did.
yes.
And he didn't ask for a contingency to have the zoning change for his purpose?
There was numerous discussions of it, but because of the quick-moving nature of the way the transaction came about, because the prior owner who had put the rocket systems into that building previously was, for lack of a better term, just trying to unload it. So he gave him very favorable terms if he would take on the building.
Okay, all right.
And so he kind of rolled the dice a bit on the zoning side of it and assumed there's a process. He was going to follow the process to see if he, take his chances,
Okay,
so to speak.
all right. You have a presentation that you want?
I do have a presentation. I promise I will not read these slides word for word. That will take everybody's way too much time, but I'm going to try to hit the highlights. So just kind of some more general photos of the building. Just kind of give you it's in the business corridor, but it's kind of off the corridor because it sits behind the Verizon Urgent Care, the KFC, the Waffle House, what's going to be Goodwill, all that nature. And then obviously Electric Works to the north. There's the previously condemned building, I believe, across the street. And then Maloney's obviously across from that. And some interior shots. So this is, when you refer to the front office, the picture on your left is kind of that front office portion of the building. And the back is the warehouse. Obviously, it's a 2-story warehouse facility. So the total square footage of the building is almost 28,000 square feet. So rather a large user for most uses outside of an industrial style user. I mean, that would be astronomically large for a restaurant or most retail outside of a large box retail. So what we would normally consider this to be is a flex building. So flex buildings basically just are an office component with an office or a retail component with a warehouse portion, usually the warehouse portion being the bigger portion of the property, because the office acts as either a front counter or a business, development office, things like that. So that's what this building would be classified as. This is actually how the county treats this building from a land use standpoint. They treat it as a light industrial flex building, even though it's zoned under DPPC. Tony had already brought up I'm going to skip actually ahead of slide here, the personal services code. While they have agreed, obviously, that the users like plumbers and roofers and things of that nature could be allowed, under the way the code is written, that's not really the case. I mean, it's an interpretation question at that point. But most other municipalities have interpreted that with two separate code languages, one for personal services, which are very specific, barber, place where you go to have a service done, versus a professional service that comes out to you, comes out plumber, more of what we would consider the blue collar services. I'm going to go back one actually too. So there are two approved uses in the DPBC that would, under their definition, qualify this more as an industrial use than might seem on the surface. So you have the wholesale commercial sales, which is defined as an establishment that engages in the sale of goods, merchandise, and commodities for resale by the purchaser, specifically not directly to the consumer. That, by definition, almost reads like a distribution facility. They're selling bulk product to another business to then sell to an end user. That is a permitted use in the business district, but would be, by most standards, considered a more of a warehouse distribution style use. And the second one, there actually is a provision for high-tech light industrial in the business district. It's just, it has a lot of caveats that allow a lot of subjectivity to the administration to decide what does and doesn't qualify, including modern equipment, advanced technology, things of that nature. So it's admitting that warehousing is usable there, but it would have to meet some, depending on the interpretation of the current administration at the time, and this can obviously change over time, they can make that as strong or as weak of an argument as they want. So in this slide, I just kind of gone into some of the businesses that would technically not qualify under personal services, but obviously that's already been addressed by Tony. And then some of the code differences from some of the surrounding municipalities. Like City of Cincinnati breaks out personal service and building maintenance into two separate codes that are very specifically, you can see the difference in the type of users there. Kind of the same thing with Colerain Township, kind of as a broken out, they have a good definition of wholesale commercial use, which is again more of a distribution, retail wholesale, and Hamilton County Green Township's code, kind of the same idea. So when you get into zoning, there's a lot of gray areas and a lot of interpretation, but it makes it hard for property owners and potential tenants to be fully comfortable with wanting to move in with not necessarily knowing what they might face down the road. So if it was moved to an F district, and I know in the staff slide they brought up all the potential uses. Now, heavy industrial would not be allowed on this site by radius restriction. It is within 100 feet of a residential district. So that would eliminate all your heavier uses that would cause noise and smell and things of that nature. It would knock it down to more storage, light industrial, flex warehousing, things of that nature. The one hiccup is obviously the sexual-oriented business nature of that. That is where I think the township has missed the mark in the sense that they've adopted the state of Ohio's language for that, but then they failed to take the final step, which most of the other municipalities have, which is to put a radius restriction on top of that to keep it radius restricted from residential neighborhoods. Usually it's, most other municipalities treat it similar to the cannabis-based businesses, 500 feet, 1,000 feet from certain designated uses and residential areas for that specific purpose, so that it's not falling, because not always is our industrial districts falling far enough outside of residential like it does in Delhi, where the only real industrial district is down on Bender Road and not really near any residential. These were some of the uses that have taken a look at the building and just not pulled the trigger because they were afraid of not being approved and not moving forward. Obviously, some distribution and some on-site printing, small distribution, kind of a, we call last mile delivery service. So think Amazon, but on a smaller scale. We had a coffee company that wanted to do some small like manufacturing in there, roasting and packaging on site. And then we've had a number of what we call service businesses reach out, but they're, until there's more clarity in the personal services versus professional services, they're not willing to necessarily. Plus the size of the building makes it, it's bigger than most of those businesses need. It's a large footprint for that. Again, going into the large footprint. The next piece is, and the other piece that the administration was, Community Development Administration is hanging their hat on, is that it does not match to the master plan for the Pike. The problem is that plan went into place in 2015. The world is a drastically different place than it was in 2015. Between the pandemic and the economic changes that resulted from it, specifically the rise of e-commerce and work from home and just the complete, almost complete destruction of the commercial office market, there is little appetite for development in the way that was presented in the plan. Because it called for, essentially, as you can see on here, on the right side, this was kind of the flow chart of how it would have gone. You redeveloped the section there by what was Central Hardware, which is now obviously just been split into multiple parcels, and now it's going to be Goodwill and Waffle House and a car wash. And then this is where we're standing is the only piece that has actually come to fruition, and that was through a significant investment by the township. So that kind of is a bit of a thumb on the scale from a development standpoint. You can't really count that as private development. And then the picture on the left side, every building in white, for the most part, not everyone, just about all of those, would be new structures that would require the purchase of existing private property, demolition of existing private property, and rebuilding, which would then gut the existing businesses in the township to then create this more walkable urban core setup, heavily featuring dense multifamily townhouses, apartments, similar to what we have in here. There's just not necessarily the market for it because it's missing those really truly developable parcels. And you can kind of see that here. This is the Central Hardware site. That this is what it was, planned to look like. Obviously, absolutely none of that's come to fruition or will probably ever in the future now that it's been split apart and there's investments being made in things like the Goodwill site and the car wash. I mean, they're not going to start tearing down practically brand new businesses to then build out townhouses and apartments. Kind of the same thing to the east of the Greenwell intersection there. The key was always to have a pharmacy on that corner to kind of compete with Walgreens. The pharmacy industry has cratered in the last 12 months. They're closing faster than they can do anything. The odds of a pharmacy taking on that, again, which would require multiple parcels to be purchased and consolidated and redeveloped, is unlikely in the extreme. Just like the mixed-use retail multifamily building, that was, I believe, the first piece of that was supposed to be the brewery that fell through after a number of years of development in the township. Should have been going in, was supposed to go in there, and that did not even come to fruition, and that was significantly further along in their plan. So again, was kind of reiterating that the only developed site was this site, which was done because it was purchased by the township, more as a way to control what was built and make sure it was fitting to the master plan, but unfortunately has not proven to be the catalyst that it needs to be. Because the problem is for a developer to want to come in and build in the township, it's going to need multiple pieces. It needs a good population density, which fortunately we have. That's not an issue. It needs a good traffic flow, which traffic flow is good. The numbers that they put in that development report were, I'm not sure where they came from because I pulled the ODOT numbers and they were maybe half of that number. But still enough to justify development. The biggest problem that Delhi has, and this is the nature of these kind of ring suburbs around larger cities, is it's a bedroom community. It's you live here, you work elsewhere, you come back in the evening. There is not a huge collection of job opportunities outside of service businesses and retail in the township. There's just not, there's no office concentrations. There's very little industrial. As I said, there's a couple of buildings down on Bender and River Road, Hillside. So a developer, when they're going to look at sites to develop and look at places to try to get financed for, because they have to get money to do this, is going to score this much lower. And then when you factor in the fact that most of the properties that were listed for redevelopment aren't even owned by one group and or vacant, makes it significantly more challenging. And the other problem that, Delhi's not immune to what's been changing around us. As over the Rhine gentrified, now the West End, everything's pushing out from downtown and the surrounding ring into those intermediate suburbs. So Delhi Township, Sailor Park, Norwood, kind of your first tier suburbs after that. And what we're seeing is those more working class populations are pushing in, and we're seeing the growth that is happening in Delhi Township happening in the far western portion of the township. That's where your new housing developments are. That's where and they're much more likely to frequent businesses.
I need to bring you back to the point.
Yes.
Because, you've gone way off on everything that was wrong with the plan, the Pike, and the marketing and so forth.
Right.
But what I have yet to see or understand from you is why this needs to be changed. Point 1, 2, 3. That's.
Okay.
You've been
It
very
needs to be
prolific
changed.
with facts, but I want to come back to focus in on what it is you're here for. You're trying to change zoning recommendations from our staff and our zoning boards, and I'd like to have a better, clear understanding of how a lot of what you've said impacts that decision.
Because you have to look at the objective reality of what this building is. We're not asking to change a vacant lot to an F designation and then build a warehouse. We're asking to change the designation to match the existing building that is on the site. That is point 1.
Okay.
Because to do that would then allow a business to come in that would bring jobs and income into the township. Otherwise, this building is likely to remain vacant for an extended period of time, as it did for 15 years prior to this current owner.
There's one theory of thought, and that is no business worse than bad business? Or,
But what do you consider bad business? That's the question.
what you're asking me to approve allows a Pandora's box of opportunity to different types of businesses to come to that building.
The majority of the businesses that would be allowed to be in that building, when you take out the things that are radius restricted, like heavy industrial, would be not even noticeable to the public. They would be all work would be conducted inside. Just like the self-storage that was approved by variance down in Delfair, has that had a giant detrimental effect? That's an F zoning use. That has not had some magically horrifying effect on the residential around it, on the business around it. Empty buildings breed more empty buildings. And nobody's going to come in and say,
Well, Andrew, we do have one of the lowest percents of Hamilton County of unoccupied buildings. True, Mr. Roach?
I'm aware of that, yes.
6%.
The township
Our
certainly.
percent in Delhi Township. So I understand what you're saying about empty buildings, live on to more empty buildings. But, okay, you're very prolific about the conditions of the economy and what's happening. Well, you know what? That has a lot to do with why we have empty buildings.
it's just you can't, and we'll agree to disagree on this, you can't look at this in a vacuum. You can't look at this and continue to bury your head in the sand and say, oh, we're still going to turn ourselves into Over the Rhine. We're still going to turn ourselves into Oakley. It's just not going to happen.
Trustee Seavey, we have about 4 slides left in his presentation.
I'm not going to do any more
I
slides.
suggest we let him finish.
All right, thank you. Andrew, you want to go ahead and finish your...
I've covered enough of it at this point.
Okay.
I think we've made my point, so there's no real, the only other point I was going to bring up was the spot zoning point, which there had been multiple, what would be considered in most places spot zoning done in the township, one on Ebenezer and one on Pedretti.
Okay,
So that
I'm familiar with both of those.
So that was going to be that, but that was more of a secondary argument, so I'm just going to skip over that.
Okay.
So that's what I had to say. Obviously, we've veered off a little bit, so I'll take any specific questions we haven't already addressed.
All right. Trustee Davis, you have a question for Mr. Matea?
First of all, thank you. I mean, it's quite an extensive presentation, and as you're unpacking that, I was thinking you are unpacking the issues that surround us every day as being a landlocked community between a river, downtown, and Western Hills that has everything.
Right.
And so what is it that would bring people in? You won't get any objection from us that we want people coming in. We want people to spend their dollars here
I
in the
agree.
township. I have a question. If you'll go back, my screen just went off. I want to go back to one of your slides. Trustee Seavey brought up Pandora's box and the possibility of what businesses could come in there, which again would set us up for some not some fun things, especially talking with Tony Roach. He said it took us about 2 years to get this other business out. Because obviously we do try to maintain high quality what we do out here. I'm going to have you go back because you mentioned other jurisdictions and how they've handled it.
Here, I'll control it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
So just tell me where you need it.
It's not that
Trustee
slide.
One after it.
One
Okay.
after
One after he had Coleraine, yeah, and Harrison. Is that what you're looking for, Mike?
Yeah, I'd like to see that slide one more time where I think, if I understood it correctly, you are saying what others have done to try and block that, so you're not looking at adult-oriented businesses setting up shop in there.
Correct.
Because the township took another step.
Correct.
I want to see what step you're talking about and what jurisdictions did what. And I want to see if was that just a broad stroke, or do you have specifics on, hearing the concern that was brought up here. I mean, and I'll tell you now. I mean, I have that concern. I don't want any adult-oriented business. That's.
Well, and I addressed the adult-oriented business part. I didn't put those in the slide, but I can go down the list for Miami Township, Green Township, which is Hamilton County, City of Cincinnati. They all have a radius restriction. That's the one piece Delhi hasn't done for sexual-oriented businesses.
Okay, and that is a puzzlement to me. So, one, I want to make sure that you're accurate. Two, and find out why we haven't, or do we have that? And maybe our police chief would win. I don't know who this would be, but this is a major stumbling block to me. Besides this property,
Right.
For things that come down the road.
That's a bigger issue.
Yeah, but I would like to see that if we have that slide, and this is not.
I don't have that slide in here. That was not because I didn't consider.
So it was an overall just saying other jurisdictions have taken action to do whatever.
Right. Now, like this is the slide we have up right now. Going back to the personal service versus what I'll call professional service building blue-collar job services. City of Cincinnati breaks down in 2 very specific different meanings because there are very different uses. One brings people to a business as a retailer, essentially, but providing a personal service. One is usually a staging ground for a business that is going out into the community to operate. They're two very different things. And the way that Delhi's code is written, that second piece, those construction-type businesses, plumbers, HVAC, whatever, there really isn't a piece of that code where they truly fall under, outside of the vague interpretation.
Quick, if I may, are we in the city of Cincinnati?
Well, no.
Do we use city of Cincinnati definitions in Delhi Township?
I was not intending to. I was intending to use it as a...
Do we have plumbers, roofers, electricians in the township operating within this district?
Yes.
Okay. So has your office or your client requested a zoning determination? Have you received anything in writing from our community development department that has denied any of the uses that you've referenced?
No, because nobody's been willing to move forward.
So you're saying that your client or your office
And I can't speak to the client
asked...
because I'm not representing them from the real estate side.
Okay, well, I'm just looking. There were several uses that were proposed on this site that you allege would be denied based on your determination or your client's determination?
That was what I was told by the client.
Okay. Yet, I don't think we've issued any zoning determinations on these. I don't think you've been denied.
There's not been
anything
any movement
Okay.
since this building
All
was
right.
purchased.
All right, so the code's been criticized, our plan has been criticized. I don't think we have the distance limitation in our sexually oriented businesses because that doesn't necessarily fit our community. Our industrial district is limited and it's isolated to a certain area of the township, okay? If, say, our industrial areas were as dispersed throughout the community as the city of Cincinnati, we may need to consider a distance requirement. Since that doesn't apply to us, we have tailored our code to fit our community. Now, I'm not saying that our code is perfect by any means. There's always room for improvement. But to come up and criticize how the code has been written when you're not even questioning or you're not even requesting a full determination, it seems premature. You don't really talk about, I know you skipped over your spot zoning speech, but it is in the document. It is part of the submittal. Do you know the zoning districts of those two cases that you were referencing, the one on Ebenezer and the one
Warren Ebenezer went from residential to commercial.
To what? What's the zoning district?
It went, I believe, went from A to C.
A to what?
A to...
You're an O, right?
Mr. Roach?
O.
And from an A zone district to a double O office.
Double O. Double O is a what district?
Office.
What kind of office? The double O matters. Planned.
It's a planned office, yes.
Okay, it's planned.
We knew exactly what was going to go into that
Pedretti Place.
on that lot.
Pedretti Place was...
Pedretti Place.
Pedretti
Right,
Place
and
was a
PUDs,
PUD.
but PUDs are basically a way of
What
making
you are
this-
creating, sir, is a false equivalency. You cannot ask for a wide-open industrial district and claim that we have done this before and we're potentially denying it here. It is apples and oranges. Just because they are two small fruits does not mean they are the same thing.
Mr. Roach, and I think Mr. Miller hit on it, these proposed uses that they say that have shown interest but are barred due to its current zoning, if somebody were doing an on-site screen printing and embroidery component and they have an office out front that obviously they're going to have to sell to, would that be denied?
Not what offices, and a lot of times when you have embroiderers or silk screeners, they typically have a retail shop as well out front.
Right, okay. Okay. But like Mr. Miller said, none of these you've heard about being a potential use.
That's correct. And Mr. A. Miller and I have had several conversations on professional and personal services, and we're under the agreement that, it's wording, but we feel that, if you call a plumber, you're getting professional and personal service, or you call an electrician. Just to the north, we have electric works there. And that's the end of the Delhi Pike Business Corridor.
Okay.
At the old Wedley's building where Electric Works at, that's where that district ends.
Mr. Mate, your client is working very hard at this. I can appreciate his efforts, okay? What does he want to do with it? That's the problem that I am personally having. We knew what was going in on Ebenezer. We knew what was going in and over at Pedretti. This, like Trustee Seavey said, it's a Pandora's box, and this is in perpetuity.
Like I said, the client purchased this and brought me in on the chance he could get it changed. I don't know, he's not here, obviously, he was given full notice of being here, and he could have spoken better to that himself, and obviously I'm stuck here answering for him, unfortunately, so it makes my job that
But
much
you're
harder.
not the agent.
No, I am not the agent. I am just the zoning consultant which happen to work in the same firm. So it makes it impossible for me to know what his I don't know if his intention is to expand his current business, which is a roofing company, into that building, or lease it to someone else, or split it apart into multiple. But I can't speak for that because I don't want to speak on his behalf.
It'd be helpful to know,
So
for us to know. But still, the F classification, okay, maybe we do have some work to do with that, and we have to split something out, but that's not going to happen here at this meeting tonight. That's something we need to discuss if we need to do that, Mr. Roach.
That's correct.
If that would help our endeavors in the future.
Yeah, and that's something we planned on at the 2026 to look at the code. It's been 5
Yeah,
years.
I know
again,
you're going to
and-
review the codes.
Yeah, we're going to review the code in 2026. Yep.
Okay.
I've asked what I wanted to ask.
Trustee
Thank you.
Davis, questions?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was bringing it up. I was just, if we don't have it, that's something we need to look at. It's not going to happen tonight. But
Right.
that would have been something I would have enjoyed hearing, like saying, we know what your concerns are, and here's how that can be remedied. And I'm not at that with it right now, but that's not on you. That's not on you
like
at
I said,
all.
I'm just here as
Yeah.
just doing what I'm being.
And
Don't shoot the messenger.
absolutely.
Pretty
And-
much.
Yeah. But
Like I
everything-
said, I'm not terribly happy that the applicant didn't show up.
Yeah.
Does not help my cause
Well,
any.
and I'm not particularly happy with the fact that he didn't investigate what type of zoning was assigned to this property before he went into the
He did,
purchase.
because-
And I don't feel like it's my responsibility to correct his mistake.
Right. And it's not that he didn't investigate, he just, as I said earlier,
Hopeful.
Okay. All right.
took a
Well,
chance.
Roll the dice.
thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank
All right,
you.
thank you. Okay,
In the close.
yeah, let's close this public hearing then, please, Mr. Luby.
Actually, I have one quick question, legal question.
All right.
In order for this to be a full public hearing, Brian, do we have to open it for public input? Yes. Okay. So it's not, I apologize, it's not on the agenda, but there should be.
But we do need to close,
There should-
correct? Yeah.
No, there should be public
public
input
first.
during the
Oh,
public hearing.
public comments. All right, I'm sorry. Is there anyone in the audience tonight that would like to continue public comments regarding this public hearing? All right, I see none. So then I will move to close this public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing addressing a request for a map amendment to rezone property located at 415 Greenwell Avenue, parcel 540-0041, 0521, and 423 Greenwell Avenue, 540-0041, 0494, located in the Delhi Pike Business Corridor, to F Industrial.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
yes.
Yes.
Madam
Motion
Chair, may I-
approved. The board will,
Madam Chair,
sorry,
just when.
Law Director?
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I know these can be confusing, including for me. But when this comes up, whenever the trustees decide to take a vote, remember you had a zoning commission recommendation.
Yes.
That was denial. But the way the code is written, if you agree with that zoning commission recommendation, you're going to approve the zoning commission recommendation, even though it's denying the rezoning. If you disagree with the recommendation, you're going to disagree with the recommendation, which will approve the rezoning. So just
So
wanted
that
that clear for the
sounds
record.
like ballot language.
Well, yeah,
So-
right, it's, yes.
so-
So I wanted to make clear for not only the trustees, because you're voting on it, but also the public as to what they're doing.
Let's step through this one more time.
Sure.
So our boarding, our zone has said no,
Correct,
denied.
Correct.
So for us to uphold the
Decision.
Recommendation, yeah.
of our zoning board,
Yes.
we would say,
You would approve that recommendation.
Adopting, you'd be adopting.
Yeah, you'd be adopting, and that would approve the, that would deny the rezoning,
okay,
even though you're approving, but you're approving the recommendation
I'm
to deny.
approving the denial.
There you go.
Denying the zone change motion.
All right.
Adopting recommendation.
Thank you for the clarification,
Thank you.
Mr. Law Director.
Thank you.
All right.
Clear
the
as
board-
mud. It's
Do what?
It's clear as mud.
Clear as mud, yes, this is like reading the ballots sometimes.
By
So the
way,
board will
We're just
take,
reflecting the state code when we have that code language in there, so.
We hear ya.
Right.
Mr. Miller and I were talking about writing it a different way, but that's the way the state
That's
code.
good.
so the board will vote on this resolution under community development, okay? So that we have that at the end of the agenda. So we will continue now back with the regular agenda, which is to go through our department updates, and we will begin with the fire department.
We have a motion to accept a donation in the amount of $5,736 in memory of Jim Metz for the matching expense required by the 2025 Ohio BWC FEEG grant.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to accept the voluntary resignation of part-time firefighter EMT Nolan A. Burwinkle effective November 3rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Resolution 2025-202, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute and enter into a contract with TCP for time and attendance management services, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And is there any discussion on this resolution, Chief
Yes,
Campbell?
thank you, trustees. So as the township has been investigating our options for time and attendance, the fire department has elected to go with TCP as our vendor for time management. And we already utilize Adelac for scheduling, and so it ties to the same time management. So it just makes perfect sense for us to stay with that company for time management. And then it is interactive with any of the payroll systems that we would move to in the future.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions?
Nope.
All right.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes. Continuing with department updates, do you have anything further, Chief?
I do have a few things. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that came out for our open house. I know the weather didn't cooperate, probably kept a lot of people out, but the nice thing to see was all the people that were driving by and realized that we were still having it, turn around and come in and visit us. So no, it was very well attended, not as much as what we typically see with the sunny weather, but however, it's a great community event and it's a good way for us to stay in touch with the community and show off a little bit of the services that we provide besides fire suppression. So on the topic of fire suppression, early Wednesday, we had a structure fire in the Allenwood Court area, 800 block. A couple things I wanted to point out to the board. It's certainly as a strong reminder of how active we are in the community. We don't just fight fires. We work heavily to prevent them, prevent injury. And just like with Kaylee's advocacy, we have the same model systems. We truly care about the community at all levels, but some of the operational things, I share with the board the alarm time that came in shortly after midnight, and you can see you're looking at from the time that we were dispatched to the time that water was on the fire, 10 minutes. You think about they gotta get up, get dressed, get out the door, find the location, hit the hydrant, pull a line, all those things that go into place. And our top three priorities on every run that we make is life safety, incident stabilization, and property conservation. And it would be remiss for me to not touch on the topic of the fires that we respond to. The customer is our number one concern. If we can eliminate the life safety concern and folks can evacuate and we're not forced into a rescue and dedicating resources for search and things like that, which we do anyway, the fire tends to get controlled much quicker. when we're splitting resources. In this event, occupants were alerted by a smoke detector, so they were sleeping. 6 residents in the home at the time of the fire. I will note a little bit on the closed door to the room fire as I proceed with this presentation, but they did escape before fire department arrival, and they were met by fire crews in the front advising that everybody was out. So if you could advance to the next slide. So we're just going to repeat the obvious. Smoke detectors save life. It is truly the most effective way for a residential homeowner to be safe in their house in the event of a fire. We recommend 1 per bedroom and hallway, 2 bedroom areas. They're designed to alert you from a slumber. If you can't hear your smoke detector go off from rest, it's not close enough to where you're at. It needs to give you the time to escape. We also recommend 1 per floor. And a lot of folks we see tend to not like them going off constantly when they burn something on the stove and take a shower and the steam from the hallway sets them off. And yes, we do realize there are false alarms that requires nothing more than moving it a little bit more out of that functional space. You do not need to take it down or remove batteries. You're only putting your life at risk in those areas. How do you ensure that they work? You know, we recommend testing them at least once a month, replacing the batteries every time change. Lo and behold, we're coming up on another time change. This is the time to look at those batteries, make sure you get those switched out, and replace your detector every 10 years. The number of residents we serve that come up and say, something's wrong with my detector, can you tell me what's wrong with it? It's 15, 20 years old. I'm not joking. So 10 years max, get those detectors up. We do recommend photoelectric, which are the majority of the ones that come out. It's just like a seeing eye. It notices smoke billowing up. The smoke that is going to kill somebody that's sleeping is a thick, low-burning fire. It produces a lot of smoke, and you will be overcome by the products of combustion before you even wake up. And that's what these detectors are designed to alert to fast. They're very sensitive. That, you know, if you're having smoke in the kitchen or smoke from a shower head and it works, that's the sensitivity you want. You gotta get up and gotta get out of the house. And then certainly in newer construction, battery backup, hardwired would be preferred. So when one goes off, they all go off. So no matter where that fire is at, you know, they can evacuate the area. If you do the next slide. So this is a picture from the other night. Is a fire in a bedroom. You're looking down the hallway towards the bedroom. You can kind of see the door ajar there. But I want you to look at the cleanliness of those walls. This should be a reminder of one of the biggest things that gets overlooked. When you go to bed at night, there's a high recommendation you close the door to all rooms that people are occupying. It buys you time, and it protects you from the heat and the smoke. And this is a clear illustration. This door was closed at the time that the fire was occurring. You can barely tell from the level of smoke. It's maybe at, head height? You could crawl out and get out of there. Had that door been opened, that whole hallway would have been an inferno. You're giving it a place to travel. So we like to say, close before you doze. Close those doors, secure it. I'll give you another example, the difference in temperature between the fire room and the adjoining room, even with a hollow core, and they've done a number of studies on this, is 900 degrees.
It's how much?
900 degrees.
900 degrees.
So picture a 1,000-degree fire in one room. You've got the door closed. We're talking 100 degrees in the room. It's survivable. If you can escape, we want you to escape. But if you can't, that's what our job is. So the reality of the fact is smoke detectors save lives. Close doors when you go to sleep at night. Make sure that the smoke detectors are functional. This is an example why 4 human beings, 2 dogs, and a cat are still alive. Can't stress it enough. We don't see it much in that word. Unfortunately, a lot of the places we go, the smoke detectors are not functioning for false alarms and stuff. So this is a clear reminder on when they work and they're functional. They work outstanding because this could have turned into a much worse situation. So we were able to isolate the fire quickly to just one bedroom and the contents in that room. did not spread any further because the door was closed. And again, that's an example which you guys can see when you're sleeping. So that's all I have, unless you got any
Well,
questions.
Chief, I apologize for the fact that none of us
Mentioned.
mentioned your open house, because it was very well done. It was
It's tough
great.
with the weather.
It was great. It was organized, and I've got to tell you, the people were so amazed with the lithium battery disposal. That just caught everyone's attention on battery disposal, particularly the lithiums. And the fact that we at Station 33 have lithium battery disposal, don't take this upon yourself. Don't put it in the garbage. Don't let it go to your refuge. Bring it to the 33s and let them handle it correctly and safely. And it was just terrific. And it's kind of interesting that tonight we had Kaylee from the police, and you actually have the same type of service, this type of residential caring for falls and for a lot of the same things that the police come across with hoarding and mental health issues as well. But thank you for all you've done with that. Thank you very much. You certainly have set the standard for others to follow you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Following Fire Department. All right, Mr. Soupy, Director Randy Soupy, Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, trustees. Nothing on the agenda, just a couple updates. As we're not finished with everything yet, but the season is winding down, cooling down, as you can tell. We're looking at the future weather as usual, winterizing waters, restrooms, shelters, sprinklers, etc. Usually that time frame is around mid-November. It's not guaranteed. If it is nicer, we'll leave them open longer, but we judge that by when it's going to get below freezing. So along with that, just keep in mind the restrooms and everything will be a modified and restricted time frames about that time. The middle restroom is heated now, so we keep that one open later on restricted hours where the new playground is. So that helps out a lot during the winter times when we have a few good days pop up. So at least everybody can use those. And as usual, the guys, we're getting ready and end-of-year supplies, ordering, stocking items for the following year coming up. That's the usual, getting everything set. And finally, we're just finishing up last plantings of the memorial trees and memorial benches in the program for this year as well. So,
Thank you, Randy. One question for you before we all get the phone call. How are we handling the ducks through the winter?
the ducks, usually we get a shelter set up for them.
That's right.
Throw some straw, get a cover for them. And a lot of times in my interest in them, they usually don't get in there, but we do give them the option. So
We give them a winterized option.
yeah, yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions, Trustee Davis? Trustee Sturts?
Thank you.
All right.
you.
Continuing along then, let's go to the Police Department. Chief Braun?
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to publicly thank Kaylee for being here. She does such a fabulous job for us. Obviously fills in where our guys aren't experts, so she does a good job. And what she didn't mention is that she has people starting to call her directly at the station instead of us referring her to them. So she's really done a good job. So publicly thank her for that. Next, starting November 1st, you're going to see our troops wearing blue badges, and that is for prostate cancer awareness. And there's also a few of our male officers going to be doing No Shave November. In order to participate in that, they had to make a donation. And as always, we're always trying to find a good place to make that donation as far as for prostate awareness. So if anybody's got any good ideas where we can make that donation, that'd be great. Next, don't forget trick-or-treating this Friday. Make sure you're watching out for the kids and everybody else that's walking. Drive slower, protect each other, and if you got little ones, make sure they can see out of their costumes, and put a little reflective tape on them if you could.
Do we have hours on that,
6
Jeff?
to 8. 6 to 8. Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen a small spike in car break-ins. I would like to report that our officers did a wonderful job catching two people, two stolen cars one night. It was a great job by them. We had people on bikes. We had drones out. We had people in unmarked cars. We had our problem-oriented policing unit out that night, and they just did a great job in identifying, recognizing, and making arrests. And I just can't say enough about our people. They did a great job. And just a couple pointers obviously to harden the target instead of obviously, putting yourself out there to be an easy victim. Make sure you're parking smart, park in well-lit areas, park by cameras if there is some. Remove valuables, lock doors and windows. I know windows on cars, it's when you hear us lock the windows. It's more like truck back windows, et cetera. So make sure all the windows and doors are locked. Use a visible deterrent. Put the steering wheel lock on if you got one of the high theft vehicles. A lot of the alarms now that you have aftermarket have a blinking light that deters people, kind of like an alarm sign in your front yard. Protects against keyless entry, relay attacks. Put spare keys in those Faraday bags or boxes, because obviously some of them are sophisticated enough they copy your key. Don't leave the keys in the car. I mean, obviously that sounds obvious, but it happens all the time. And last but not least, please don't leave guns in cars. I mean, to this day, we still see them, and there's no reason to leave your gun in the car. And since we talked a little bit tonight about paying the flock camera bill recently, just to bring you all update a little bit, so far year to date for 2025, we've made 22 arrests specifically on flock cameras. We had 13 stolen vehicles recovered. We had 3 firearms recovered on cars that we stopped. $120,000 in recovered property. We saw multiple hit-skip crashes, and we developed criminal leads on a lot of cases as far as helping our investigators. So I will tell you they're invaluable. I know we paid the bill earlier, it was $40,000, but as you can see, they're paying dividends, and it's an excellent tool for our men and women to have in their toolbox. So I can't thank you enough for that.
I've said that to you before. The return on the investment of those cameras has been.
Yeah, so I don't have anything else prepared for you tonight, but I'll be glad to, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to help answer
Trustee
them.
Davis?
No, I love the flock cameras. We've been in support of those since day one, even though some of the public thought, oh, we're keeping an eye on them. No, it's nice to know if Grandpa gets in his car and he has some dementia and we're not sure, we can ping it. We can see some things. If I get to Delhi and Pedretti and someone rams my car and takes off and goes back into the city of Cincinnati, sorry, I just thought I'd throw that out, go back across the border, back wherever, I know that if I have a basic description of the car, whatever, you guys can ding it pretty quickly, and that is just incredible. And we always say, folks, there's nothing you're going to do here in Delhi that's not on a camera somewhere, either the Ring camera and even the network that we have in our communities, the flock cameras. So if you're going to go do that, do it somewhere else. Don't do it in the township because, again, you'll get caught. Delhi is the media darling. You hear everything that goes on in Delhi on 5, 9, 12. That's because we make arrests.
That's right.
That's why you hear about it. So thank you.
All right. Trustee Sturts?
Thank you for bringing the flock cameras to our township, because I know there are a lot of communities that don't have them or don't want them. And, again, they're worth every penny that we've paid for them. So.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right. Moving through departments then. Ron Rippinger, Director of Public Works. We have first a resolution.
Resolution 2025-203, authorizing preliminary consent legislation with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the traffic improvements project at Delhi Avenue, Delhi Town Square, and Clemmy Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Rippinger.
Thank you, trustees. This is for the awarded OKI grant to Delhi Township for the Delhi Avenue traffic improvements, which I still like to call it Delhi Pike, but we went with Delhi Avenue. It's for the traffic light in front of Delhi Town Square mostly, and then Clemmy, the 3 lanes that we had. I know I had some slides previously. This is actually federal funds managed by the state, and they actually take care of the competitive bidding, the construction, and the inspection. So this is just another, I guess, red tape. It's a little thick that we have to go through, but the next step, and then we hope to have construction in the spring, which the timing is not perfect with Seton probably wrapping up their project, but it's going to be a great addition with the 3 lanes when it's completed, and it should be a pretty short project.
We'll probably have to live through a little bit of construction
Yes.
pains. Okay.
Yep. Any other questions on that?
I have one. I didn't hear you mention the most complained about light in the township at Delhi and Greenwell. And that's what we were looking at all of this.
That's on another grant coming up next year, and they're going to look at all the timing on everything, which, again, you know, it's kind of nice that this complex is complete where all that is being evaluated after.
Just tell them to come out and change it, and we'll wait for their evaluation once they change that, so we can turn left onto the damn pike. My gosh. This is crazy. This has been going on for X amount of years, not months. And people sit there, and they sit there, and then they start getting stupid, flying through UDF or flying through, you know, the Mexican restaurant, whatever. It's like...
It's coming. They're going to take a look at it, and we'll make sure they spend some extra time there.
Okay.
Trustee Davis, I would like to go on record to say at Ron and I's last meeting with Eric Beck, we requested a left turn lane on Greenwell onto the pike. We specifically
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. If you could repeat that, please, Skylar.
We specifically requested that left turn lane, or a dedicated turn lane onto the pike.
Well, that's only going to become a
it
bigger
is coming up.
aggravation with Seton.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe
come on.
Matei, what do you think about that? Thank you, yeah.
I didn't want to get his hopes up.
Thank
I didn't
you.
want to get his hopes up.
I do. Yeah,
Anybody's
please
hopes
get my
up,
hopes up and
but-
get everybody
yeah.
else's hopes
Right.
up that we can do this.
But we did personally champion that specific issue.
I hope so. When that light first went in, they had it correct. They had it absolutely right. And then it was within a month later, they came and switched it back. It's like, what did you do? Oh, we're going to look at some things. Meanwhile, X amount of years later, we're
Here we
finally
are.
to it. Skylar, I hope you're accurate. Mr. Ripperger, please, make it happen.
Your move, Trustee Davis.
It's my move. Gosh, the pawn, the king, I will move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis. Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes. Resolution passes. Department updates.
Just a couple quick things. We started on our first salt truck maintenance for the year, so we're prepping. Luckily, this is rain and not snow, so we'll be ready in time. And we participated in our first trunk or treat. We did bring our Bobcat, had it
You
decorated.
had a great display.
Had some pretty excited employees about it, so I think it went good.
That was
Kids
yeah.
enjoyed it.
It was very well done. Thank you for participating. That was great. Any questions further? All right.
Thank you.
All right. Marketing Events Department, Mr. Riesenberg.
On October the 18th, the Event Center hosted a radio drama theater rendition of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It was an old-fashioned radio production. Anyone who missed it can Google the Delhi Township YouTube channel and catch the full program. It's kind of the perfect story going into Halloween in just a few days. This past Friday was movie night on the lawn. It led off with spooky story time from the Delhi branch library. Then the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas. On Saturday, we had the annual trunk or treat, which was a fun event for the whole family. Had at least 500 kids in attendance. The event department is closing out October with over 150 prospective contacts. Event bookings are starting to increase for 2026 as we expand our visibility in the community. So things are going well. The event center is going to be busy in November. We're starting off with an event for over 400 people using the lawn and the entire facility. And at the end of the month, the annual tree lighting is on Saturday, November 29th at 6 p.m. At the edge of the lawn. So we've got a pretty busy month coming up. We have a bridal show coming up. We're going to be a vendor at the Cincinnati Wedding Show by Bridal Affair on November the 9th. It's at the Hilton Garden Inn in Mason, Ohio. We're trying to increase our presence in the bridal market in Cincinnati. So if anyone's interested in checking out the coming to the bridal show, we have information on the Event Center's Facebook page where they can sign up for the show. We're getting ready for the annual Christmas parade, Delhi Christmas Parade, along Delhi Pike on Saturday, December the 6th at 9:30, followed by Holiday Jamboree held inside the Event Center from 11 to 2. There's going to be lots of activities for the entire family. Meet Santa and Mrs. Claus and the Delhi Grinch. So everyone needs to try to be a part of that. We're planning a holiday princess breakfast on December the 14th, so watch the Event Center's Facebook page for more details and the ability to sign up. In the art gallery, we have the Paint Like Masters art display. It'll be up for a few more weeks. Stop by and see some really nice artwork. We also have a gallery hunt. It's going on during the show, and there's prizes for those who complete the hunt. And to finish off, the Delhi Athletic Club closes out the month with 2,921 total members, with an average of 264 check-ins per week. And the club has seen over 130 total check-ins since opening.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Trustee Davis,
Thank you.
questions?
Nope.
Trustee Sturts?
No. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Just keep going. Keep going. Thank you, Bob. Administration, you're on beginning with a resolution.
We have Resolution 2025-204, authorizing the Township Administrator to spend greater than $10,000 on behalf of the Township in fiscal year 2025, declaring an emergency and dispense with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Miller?
This resolution references two purchases for the fire department. The first is structural firefighter and gear dryers for all of the fire stations. This is actually, this is going to be covered through a grant and private donations. So, it'll be essentially be a reimbursable expense. The other piece is a little redundant because we just approved the contract for TCP for timekeeping. That's referenced here as well. Like I said, it's a little redundant.
Thank you.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, and resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-205, entering into a collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Township Professional Firefighters, Local 3389 IAFF, and dispensing with the second reading.
Introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Miller?
This is a 3-year renewal of our existing collective bargaining agreement with Delhi Fire. This one I would say went pretty smoothly. We finished up, 3 or 4 meetings back and forth? Yeah. So, good meetings and no major issues coming out of this.
And no
Thank you to
attorney
the fire
fees.
department for working with us.
Yep.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-206, entering into a collective bargaining agreement with Valley Township Road Department Employees Association, and dispensing with the second reading.
Introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Miller?
Again, the road department collective bargaining agreement is on the same 3-year schedule. So I think we had some good productive meetings with the road department team as well. No major changes to the agreement. Some flexibility in uniforms.
Okay.
That's really about it. So Good group. It's already been approved by their union body.
All right, well, thank them for working with us.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis, Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-207, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute and enter into a contract with NeoGov for professional services, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am. So NeoGov is going to provide timekeeping and attendance services for the rest of the township departments. So TCP is doing fire. This will be for everyone else, including police department. TCP does a very good job with the issues or, specifics of
Well, there's
of
nuances in the
timekeeping.
fire
There's
department.
Lots of nuances.
Yeah.
Chief Braun kind of led the search for something that worked for the police department that could also easily work for our other standard, 40-hour-a-week, essentially, departments. So NeoGov was chosen to be that piece, and once we get the timekeeping in place, we will be looking at a new payroll management group.
Okay, thank you. You're on.
I am.
Move to dispense.
Is that all, Mr. Miller?
That's all I have. Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're going to community development.
We
No,
have
you
to
moved to
pass
dispense
this.
with second reading.
That's not finished yet? Move to dang. Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes. Administrators report, Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to be very brief tonight. The budget documents are getting finalized. It's taken us a little bit longer just to get all of our ducks in a row. No pun intended, Mr. Soupy. But the other big item is typically by this meeting, we would have an insurance renewal with the Ohio plan.
Okay.
As our plan expires 10/31. Unfortunately, and I actually just found this out today, the Ohio plan has been delayed in getting their underwriting done. So it's not an emergency. We have been assured that our current insurance plan and coverage will continue and just roll over. Okay, so our initial plan is going to continue on. This is a very bad time of year with them because everybody else is on the same schedule as well. We're actually going to be looking at doing a renewal that either gives us a 13 or 14-month window this time around so that we can get our insurance closer to January 1, which will benefit us later on in the future. So, again, we don't have an Ohio plan approval for tonight, but we are still insured. So, and that guarantee came from Ohio Plan on Highland.
But my question would be, does this give them an opportunity to raise their fees? And because we're going to be stuck not having a plan to go to? Or are we going to be allowed time to research somebody else if they decide to?
We'll have time, although generally, I've researched other group insurances before. I think we would want to stay with the Ohio plan. So searching around, looking at either Otarma or, some other group out there is probably not advisable this time around. And I wouldn't expect any significant changes this year. We did have a big increase in our plan last year because we took this building on. But yeah, we'll see what that proposal comes back.
Okay, all right.
And that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you. Any questions, Trustee Davis, Trustee Sturts? Okay. Community Development then, Director Tony Roach. This is continuance of the public hearing, or are we finished with public hearing? Director, we're finished. Okay, then we can move on to the resolution itself. Mr. Luby.
So before we read this, and I apologize for interjecting, the way the resolution is written, it's either an ad lib or choose your own adventure, whatever
Right.
you want to call it. So before Mr. Luby reads it, if you can provide any discussion or direction so that we can modify the title of the resolution. Well, what I'm essentially looking for is what is the intent of the board?
Okay. The intent of the board. Trustee Davis?
My intent is to move the motion to adopt the resolution, which was the recommendation of the Delhi Township Zoning Commission, based on the information that we've had tonight, some unanswered questions and vision, if you would. So that would be the direction I would be heading, but I don't know why we just can't read this, and I can make the motion, the other two
Trustee Sturts, do you have
can
further
accept or
questions on this?
reject.
No, I think that's the way that we're leaning, but we just wanted to be clear.
Yeah.
Because we either have to say deny or whatever.
Well, I'm saying, if
Exactly.
I make the motion, they can accept or reject. I
Right.
mean,
That's right.
True.
that's, you know.
That's fair.
Okay.
So we've
So,
Okay, so the board should consider, is this what you,
No,
Well-
I think we understand the intent, so Mr. Luby, if you want to read it.
Resolution 2025-208, adopting the recommendation of the Delhi Township Zoning Commission in case ZC 2025-01, rezoning properties located at parcel 540-0041-0521 and 415 Greenwell Avenue and parcel 540-0041-0494 and 423 Greenwell Avenue from DPBC Delhi Pike Business Corridor to F Industrial District and dispensing with a second reading.
So moved.
second.
All those in favor?
all those in favor?
Yes?
Yes.
Roll call?
You're accepting the recommendation.
So,
So
let me,
He said adopting.
let's be perfectly clear on this.
So-
What we're doing is moving to accept the motion to
We adopted it.
adopt the resolution to enforce the ruling of our zoning board.
To accept the recommendation of
To
denial.
accept the recommendation of our zoning board, which was to deny the change to F.
That's correct.
So, in elementary words, the answer of changing the zoning on that particular group of parcels is no. Do we all agree?
We
Does
did
he
agree.
have to read this, what's in bold or in capital letters? Does he have to
Well,
read that part?
I would suggest, just to make it extremely clear,
Read
you know, so there are two options here.
Right.
You know, so if you are denying the zone change, I would recommend you make a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-208.
I just did that.
Yeah.
That was
Now-
the
now
resolution.
twice.
I just
Well, we had-
wanted to make sure that it was denied correctly. So, all right, so,
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
now we have,
Okay.
I think he made the motion to adopt the recommendation.
but the recommendation had not,
No, Jim read the resolution.
I read the resolution.
Under the guise of adopting the resolution. I moved the motion to adopt. It was seconded. We all were in favor.
Roll call?
Roll call.
roll call.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts.
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes,
Well, that was easy.
motion approved.
I do want to say thank you. You were very well prepared. There's unanswered questions, obviously, and we all are in agreement. We all want business. We want this to continue on, so who knows down the road, you know, but
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, all
but
right,
we do
thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
And again, just before, I hate to belabor this, but because of the way, the trustees very clearly adopted the recommendation. They moved that recommendation to be adopted, that the zoning commission recommendation of denial of the zoning be adopted, so the zoning's been denied, period.
Thank you.
And now there's no ambiguity if there ever was in the first place.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
And
Good call.
I do have one comment on this resolution and the case in hand. I would ask the owner of this property to contact community development. Those uses that sound like they have, interested parties that want to do them in the township, that the presentation claimed they were barred from this. I believe that the majority of those could be done within the existing zoning code, or
Okay.
within the existing zoning district.
But the owner wasn't here.
I understand that.
He's
What I'm
asking them
saying
to tell
is, this shut the door on a zone change. This did not shut the door on these proposed uses. The owner or their representative needs to reach out to our community development department and talk about these potential uses and get a zoning determination. We will work with property owners. We do want business. So just want to be very clear what we did tonight. We're not shutting the door on business. We shut the door on a wide open zone change.
So, Mr. Miller, if this property owner is looking to resale the property, then he ought to talk to Mr. Roach now before he even begins the approach to new customers.
Great idea, Madam Chair.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Luby, we do have another resolution.
Yep. We have resolution 2025-209 declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5337 Dell Hill Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
Move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution, Mr. Roach?
The next two resolutions Mr. Libby is going to read are basically just for excessive vegetation.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this
All
resolution.
those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-210 declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5353 Meadowwood Court, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Roach?
Yep, just grass.
Yeah.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-211 certifying violation abatement expenses at 5346 Dell Hill Drive, 4953 Alverno Valley Court, 4605 Foley Road, 590 Greenwell Avenue, 5321 Plum Ridge Drive to the county auditor for assessment, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
This is a standard one that we submit to the Hamilton County Auditor, and this will make their January tax duplicate bill when it comes out in January for the
Okay,
cleanups.
thank you.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes, resolution passes. That can, Tony, don't you have a department report?
Sure, if you don't like one.
Yes.
Thanks for thinking of me. So just two quick things. If you haven't been by KFC, they're moving right along. I haven't had the opportunity to speak with anyone there on their time frame, but it looks like they're getting really close. And this is the second thing. If you haven't seen our new neighbors to the east of us here with the SC, they have their light poles in place. The curbs are in place, and it looks like they put their base layer down of gravel or something, and they're getting ready to lay asphalt for the winter before the plants close.
Where's that?
That new place
Seton
over
Center.
here.
Our neighbor.
I've heard about that.
Seton Center.
Other than that, that's all I had this evening, unless your board would have questions for me.
No, no. I do not have any public comments, is that correct? All right, then let's have an announcement of community events then. Mr. Miller.
I'm going to help out Mr. Miller tonight. So we have a free shredding event. It'd be Saturday, November 1st. It starts at 10 a.m. It goes till noon. It's at Earth Connection, which is a ministry of the Sisters of Charity. Shredding will take place in the upper parking lot of Mount St. Joe by the football and soccer field. Everyone may bring up to 3 boxes of paper documents for free on-site shredding, canceled checks, medical records, credit card offers, past utility bills, old tax returns, junk mail, etc. Please remove paper from notebooks and binders. Paper clips and staples do not have to be removed. And no binder clips, CDs, or DVDs accepted. The Oak Hills High School Veterans Day, honoring all who served, will be November the 3rd. The assembly is from 8:30 to 9:45 a.m. That's for the pre-assembly. Meetup time was 7:15 to 8:15, and the post-assembly lunch is 10 to 10:45. It'll be the Oak Hills High School new gym. Please email Mr. Paul Limpert for any questions and reservations. The Veterans Day ceremony, hosted by the Delhi Township Veterans Association, is November the 9th at 1 p.m., and it will be at the Veterans Memorial Park at 934 Neeb Road. The public is invited. Some upcoming events at the Delhi Event Center. November Paint and Sip Party is Friday, November 14th at 7 p.m. Create your own autumn sunrise masterpiece. Registration is required. We have Wines Giving wine tasting Thursday, November 20th. Registration is required for that. December wine tasting, Bubbles and Berries, is Thursday, December 18th at 6:30 p.m. Registration is required. Join us for some holiday baking at our cooking kitchen. We have Pie Perfect Thanksgiving class on Tuesday, November 18th from 6:30 to 8:30. The cost is $40. Bring your own pie pan. You'll go home with a beautiful apple pie. Registration is required. The holiday cookie class is Tuesday, December 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. Make 3 special holiday cookies to take home. The cost is $35 per person or 2 for $50. Registration is required. And our Delhi Town Square tree lighting will be Saturday, November 29th at 6 p.m. Join us for the kickoff to the holiday season at our 2nd annual Christmas tree lighting. Enjoy hot beverages and Christmas carols while we celebrate the most wonderful time of the year.
What time is that?
6.
6?
6 p.m. The Delhi Christmas Parade and Holiday Jamboree will be Saturday, December 6th. Meet your neighbors on Delhi Pike for our annual parade starting at 9:30. At the conclusion of the parade, join us at the Delhi Event Center for our Holiday Jamboree for holiday cookie decorating, school choir performances, crafts, complimentary refreshments, and a meet and greets with Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the Delhi Grinch.
All right, thank you, Mr. Luby.
We do have one more. We do have Delhi Community Senior Center Craft Fair, which is November 15th, and that's from 9 to 1 p.m. The vendor setup is Friday evening. For more information, please contact Delhi Parks. That's all I have.
Thank you. For those of you interested in signing up for the Christmas parade, they're taking your registrations now. Mr. Jenkins, did you have any further information on that registration? Okay, it's on the website, so register yourself to be part of the annual Christmas parade. And
which website? Delhi Township, Delhi Town Square, the parade?
There you go. We're going to have it all. We're going to have it all covered.
I have one final public service announcement, if I might.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Next Tuesday, you have a chance to celebrate one of the best freedom and gifts you've ever had in your life, and that is the ability to go and vote. To go and vote. Incredible day, lots that are out there, things on the ballot and things like that. This appeal, though, goes to the voters of Cincinnati. Please, please, think before you go in. Know the candidates before you vote for them. Don't do it maybe because someone said, oh, they're really good, vote for them. Do all of the work that you need to do before you go in there and vote for these candidates, whether it's city council, the mayor, whatever. We're praying for you. We are all part of Cincinnati. We love Cincinnati. We don't like it the way it is. I don't, let's just say that. You know, you see the shootings, everything else going on. We hear a lot of words. We hear a lot of, we're going to do this. I even saw a press conference today. The mayor actually came out and thought he would get in front of the mic and start talking about it. It's funny that you're doing that 6 days before Election Day. I'm not saying who to vote for. I'm just saying, really? Where have you been? We have friends, we have family that live within the city lines, and it's time to stop the crap. Be smart for who you go in there and vote, and just don't vote because you think you might know the name. Go in there because they have made a difference in your community and the vision that they have. Protect each other. The best way you can do it is by protecting your vote and being smart with it. That's all I've got to say about that.
Thank you. Can I say ditto?
Yeah.
Trustee
Amen.
Sturts? Amen. We have a ditto and an amen. So remember that you're voting next Tuesday. We are not having an executive session this evening, so I will have a motion to adjourn.
With no further business, we come before the board. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. This meeting of the Delhi Township Trustees is currently now adjourned. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, November the
12th.
12th. I had to put my glasses on to read the 12th. All right. Stay safe out there. Thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.